Only two teams haven't trailed on the FBS level one single season in any single game this entire year. And they're both undefeated this year. Think about it. Do you have the answer? I'll give it to you in just a second. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, General Manager at DeMarcoSports.com, and this is going to be your Saturday video report. And needless to say, I've been a little hot in college football. Here on the video report with what I jokingly call the best of the worst, the plays that I've narrowed down from the card and eliminated from one reason or another. These plays from being my best bet of the day over at DeMarcoSports.com. Well, I've won 6 of the last 7 Saturdays, with BYU being last Saturday's best bet. And then with my best bets on the board, last Saturday cashing in for the 5th time in the past 6 Saturdays with a raise the bar 20 dime release with the Texas Longhorns, getting the job done. And guys, I can tell you that I've got 3 more complimentary plays coming up here for this Saturday's card and a play for Friday. If you happen to be watching this video on Thursday or Friday, that's coming up on the Duke Florida State game. Now, listen, I've got to tell you the answer. I don't want to hold you in suspense any longer. Those 2 teams, Army and Indiana, have not trailed for a single second in any of their games. And of course, they're a perfect 6-0 each on this season. Okay, now, before I get to your complimentary plays, just a quick FYI, if you happen to be watching this video report on Thursday or Friday, I have another Raise the Bar 20 dime release. Now, this is my 2nd highest rated play that I've released in my career. I have had 5 of them so far this season, and I'm a perfect 5-0. In fact, going back to last season, college and pro combined, I have won 12 out of 15. Last weekend, another 2-0 sweep, not only giving you Texas a 3.5-point favorite, winning by 31 over Oklahoma, but then an even easier one with the Lions, a 3.5-point choice, winning by 38 at Dallas. Jesus, don't you wish they were all that easy? But I've decided to go ahead, because I hate this Thursday night card. I'm doing this video report on Thursday, and release an early play for the Big 12 game between BYU and Oklahoma State. Yes, BYU is 6-0, but Oklahoma State's lost 3 in a row. And this is a must-win game for the Cowboys, and it's a big line. That is going to be the Raise the Bar 20 dime play. And just like every single one of the other ones, it's the half price play of the day using coupon code HALF, H-A-L-F, over on DeMarcoSports.com. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my good friend Rick Torino, a guy I've known for, 30-some years now. Well, more than 35. I've been married 35 years, so he was at my wedding party. So I've known him for even longer than that. But the guy who has made more money for college and football and NFL bettors than anybody else since the start of last season, going into this weekend, $10 bettors have won $16,640. Yeah, not too bad. I don't know what the game is going to be, but he's going to have his 2nd highest rated play. And it's going to be another 75 dime play on Saturday. And going into the weekend, 75 dime plays, he's won 23 out of 30, including 4 in a row in college, I believe. So again, I don't know what the play is, but I can tell you, again, those $10 bettors in college and pro football dating back to the start of last season, wins minus losses minus the VIG, have won $16,640. And that will be also discounted, just like all his other big plays here this year over at DeMarcoSports.com. And Jesus, the guy's been hot. What can I say? I've been talking about him. You've been getting his plays, and you've seen the results too. So with all that being said, let's get busy and turn to your complimentary plays. I'm going to do these in reverse chronological order. I'm going to do the Saturday plays first and then get to the Friday night selection for you. I don't want to bore you with giving the Friday night play first. But let's talk about the Saturday games. And again, I'm going to talk about these in the order that I like the releases. Now, first game, it's going to be Army, a 15.5-point choice at home against East Carolina. I gave you Army last week as a free play. How easy was that? Again, you like these games that when they win by 100 points, Army was laying the big double digits against an awful UAB team, and they rolled with ease in that one. 44-10, that win, 515 yards, no surprise, 413 rushing in that game too, averaging 7.4 yards per carry. Listen, Army is number one in the nation. Again, no surprise, and running the ball, averaging a little over 369 yards a game and 6.8 yards per carry. Last three games, they have scored 42, 49, and 44 points, which you really have to think about how amazing that is, because this is a team that runs the ball. This is a team that dominates the clock. This is a team that doesn't really have a lot of possessions because of the clock management. But because Army has opened up its offense a little, no, they're not throwing the ball 33 times a game. They have become a lot more potent offensively. Number two in third down conversions in the nation at 56.5%. Number nine, tied for number nine in red zone offense this year. And yet still number three in the nation in time of possession, holding the ball 34 minutes a game. And in terms of that red zone offense, they've had 25 opportunities. They've scored 22 touchdowns and 3 field goals. And a lot of times, guys, when you hear about teams, how efficient they are in the red zone, it's not how the percentage is, it's how many times they've scored touchdowns versus field goals. You got to get the TDs, not settling for the field goals. So that percentage sometimes is very misleading. The other thing is, in the 5 FBS level games they played, they've only yielded an average of 10.4 points a game. Now, that's the flip side of time of possession. When you're holding the ball 34 minutes a game, that means the offense of the other team is sitting around watching you. Milk time off the clock, limiting your opponent's possessions. So I think the key in this particular contest, however, is that East Carolina is coming off a 55-24 loss at Charlotte. Now, Charlotte's a 3-3 team. They're average. But if you look at the box score in that game, Charlotte ran for 311 yards and 6 touchdowns, average 6 yards per carry. And that's a traditional offense. The 49ers had 511 total yards in that game. Charlotte was up 31-10 at halftime in that game. You don't have to be an MIT grad here. If Charlotte ran for 311 yards with a traditional ground attack, and you've got Army running that option and also occasionally throwing the ball a little more this year, and they're number one in the nation running the ball, just ran for 413 against UAB, averaging 370 yards a game on the ground this year. Well, Jesus, I'll lay the 15.5 points and take Army. So that's your first complimentary play, and that's your best. I'm going to go with Texas. And two of those I had a ultra rare 30-dime release on Texas earlier this season at Michigan. I had the raise the bar 20-dime winner on Texas last week, right? One of the things I can tell you, and a word of advice, is don't fall in love with a team just because they made you money. Texas for me. Tennessee earlier in the season, hit with a big play with them, a 30-dimer. Hit with them as a number of complimentary plays. Hit with them as a 15-dime play as well. But got off the bounce bandwagon in time. Don't fall in love with teams just because they won you money in the past, because everything is cyclical. Dance with other girls. Listen, Texas, I do like Texas. Little concerned that this line has gone from 3.5 to 5.5 in some places here, as more people are jumping on the Longhorns bandwagon. I like the fact that Quinn Ewers, screwed that up, came back after missing 2.5 games, 20 of 29, 199 yards against Oklahoma. I think that he will be even better in this game. After shaking off the rust against the Sooners. This Georgia defense is nothing special as we've seen. And you consider the Georgia 2 road games this year, how poorly they played. I mean, look at how Kentucky pretty much stopped Georgia's offense in its tracks, right? And then you look at last week and you say, oh, well, Georgia struggled in the second half against Mississippi State. I don't put a lot into that, because I think after they got up big 34-10 in the second half, they got caught looking ahead to this game. So the fact that they didn't cover as a 4.5 point favorite and they only won that game 41-31 doesn't mean a lot. But again, 13-12, they won at Kentucky. They got down big at Alabama, made it respectable with that big second half comeback, took the lead, ultimately lost 41-34. I look at a team in Georgia that's now going to go into Darrell Wallace Stadium in front of 100,000 rabid fans against the number one team in the nation. Yeah, so big deal. Kirby Smart's teams 51-3 straight up. But you lost at Bama. You barely beat Kentucky. I think they're going to lose here. And I got to ride with Texas because I think they're the more physical team. They have the better defense, and they're going to take this game. But I want to put my money on it. Next game is going to be Wisconsin, -7.5 at Northwestern. You look at Northwestern and you say, oh, man, that was an impressive win against Maryland last week, 37-10 on the road for Northwestern. But then you look at the box score and you see that Northwestern was only up 17-10 in the fourth quarter there. They were outgained 355 to 238. They were 3 for 12 on third down. Now that sounds more like Northwestern. They had 15 fewer first downs than the Terrapins. They only had 80 yards rushing on 34 attempts, which comes out to 2.4 yards per carry. How did they win? Terrapins, season high 4 turnovers, 3 of them in the fourth quarter, led to 17 points for the Wildcats. Sometimes final scores are deceiving. You look at Wisconsin here, Luke Fickell's team, and even Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator. Things have changed here in the past couple of weeks. They've found a running back, Walker, career high, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns in the 42-7 win at Rutgers. The prior week, the 52-6 home win against Purdue, I kind of discounted because the Boilermakers suck. But in that game, Braden Locke played well at quarterback, 359 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But Walker had a good game there, 19 carries, 84 yards. I believe he transferred in from Oklahoma. And then Locke had another good game against Rutgers. So I'm willing to give the better coach in Luke Fickell and the better team in Wisconsin the benefit of the doubt here. And I think this line is misleading at 7.5. I do believe Wisconsin is far superior than Northwestern, and I'm just not impressed with the Wildcats here. So, oh, by the way, also a little bit of a revenge game for Wisconsin because Northwestern came in last year as a 12-point dog at in Madison and won that game outright 24-10. So I'm going to go with Wisconsin, and that would be your third play for Saturday. FYI, if you haven't taken advantage of it yet, keep in mind, you see it at the bottom of the screen. You can get the 2-day free all-access pass. You can get My Best Bet for Friday and all the handicappers plays for Friday, for example, or you can get them here on Thursday if you're watching it, plus another day. 2 days, your choice, for free, no strings attached. The all-access pass, for example, on Friday and Thursday will be $99. It'll be $109 on Saturday. You get all the plays of all the handicappers for free, no strings attached. That easy. Just click on the button over at DeMarcosports.com. The reason I've done it for 20 plus years is it's no better way to give you an idea of what we do, read all the analysis. Every handicapper is different and get all the plays for free. I can't sell it, guys, because free means free. There you go. And it's not free like some of the scumbags in this industry from the 80s who used to scream and shout from the rooftops, absolutely free, absolutely free, absolutely free. And in those days, absolutely free meant, hey, call my 800 number and then give me your credit card and I'll bang it for $1,000 and then I'll show you what absolutely free means. No. Free really does mean free. If you ever have any questions, you can always contact customer service and they'll walk you through it. Now, for your Friday play, I like Duke. -3 against Florida State. I mean, has this been a one-sided series? 22 straight wins in the series for Florida State. 21 of them by 18 or more. 8-0-1 against the spread the last 9 meetings, Florida State. Florida State sucks. Yeah, another team that sucks. First time ever that Duke has been favored in this series. Now, Duke, one more win becomes bowl eligible. One more win for Florida State, that'll double their win total on the season. Duke's been idle since their first loss a couple of weeks ago to Georgia Tech, 24-14, a game that they were up 10-0 early and 14-10 going into the fourth quarter. But then 2 turnovers sealed their fate. Listen, has Duke played a tough schedule? Not really. I mean, their 2 step-up games before that, they won 26-20 at Northwestern, 21-20 against North Carolina. Their other wins came against Middle Tennessee State and UConn and Alon. So, not a brutal schedule. Florida State definitely played a better schedule, but I will say this. Duke still has the remnants of that good defense that they had a year ago. They have a quarterback, the ex-Texas Longhorn, Murphy, who's thrown for over 200 yards in every single game. They have a good running game. Star Thomas, 528 yards per on the season, 4.7 yards per carry, had 3 straight 100-yard efforts before Georgia Tech put the clamps on him. They're number 11 in third down defense at 29.3% and number 10 in pass defense. And, I look at Florida State, and other than that one win, 14-9 against Cal. Since then, they lost 42-16 at SMU, 29-13 against Clemson. Their high watermark this season in terms of points scored was the 21 in Dublin in their season opener against Georgia Tech. Their offense has averaged 13.5 points in 5 games since. So I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt to Duke. So once again, recapping your plays. On Saturday, the best play, 6-1 last 7, would be Army. Number 2 would be Texas. And then number 3 would be Wisconsin. And FYI, that Wisconsin line is 7.5. I'm buying down the half point on the Badgers. Then Friday, I like Duke. And again, that line is sitting at 3. I'm buying down the half point on the Blue Devils when that line crosses between 3 and 4.5. So that'll do it for this video report. I wish you well, guys, and we'll talk to you again later. Good luck, everybody.